Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? You know, we're in the middle of a complex and destructive phase full of the unknowns. Amidst this chaotic phase, it is impossible to predict even the near future. The best we can do is form a hypothesis and orient our actions around it. We've been taught that assumptions are bad. They make an ass out of you and out of me, right? But that's not always true. I've developed a set of assumptions about the future to build a framework of understanding. I use that framework to identify what is in my control and what is out of my control. These things are outside of our control, and we can stop worrying about it. They're not up to us. Instead, our concern is what is in our control, and all our energy and resources should be dedicated there. Now, before I get into assumptions I'm operating under, let me just say this. They are assumptions, not predictions. I'm not one of those, okay? I'm not one of those that says, this is gonna happen, we've got 30 days. No, no, I hate that. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong, okay? But with nearly 3 years of the Great Reset under our belt, and I bet you'll agree, they have merit, all right? Now, none of this should be taken as a black pill. No problem can be solved without a sober identification and acceptance of the nature of the challenge. That's all we're doing here. With that in mind, there are assumptions that I'm using today to guide my actions. Less freedom of movement. There will be more effort so to restrict and regulate our freedom of movement. From passports to increased visa requirements, 15-minute city initiatives. A grid is being constructed to regulate our freedom of movement. A CBDC is coming. Cash will be eliminated. How restrictive it may end up being, I don't know. But CBDC is a foregone conclusion. The digital ID is already here. Biometrics are the future. If you have a government-issued ID associated with your photograph, you are in the system already. How the ID is deployed and enforced is the only question. The Greater Depression. Timing is hard, but can any thinking person imagine how the outcome can be avoided altogether? And when I say the Greater Depression, we had the Great Depression. What is coming is the Greater Depression. Now, most of my financial assets will disappear at some point. Inflation, bank bail-in, market wipeout, or the Great Taking. I don't know the cause, but I assume physical assets are where I need to be ultimately. Increasing crime and disorder. You've seen the videos. I did a video. Whether driven by economic desperation, mass migration, the inversion of law, or in the name of social justice, crime and disorder will grow and lead to greater physical threats to our lives and property from our fellow man. This makes urban environments, especially, but not exclusively, a real risk. Supply constraints are increasingly around all commodities, from food to energy. Tight supplies are showing up everywhere. Live cattle, long dormant, hit an all-time high recently. Oil prices are up 30% in the last 3 months. 40% of Argentina's wheat crop is in poor to fair condition, and protectionist policies are on the rise globally. WW3 is coming. A good case can be made that it's already begun. The Army War College recently published a study suggesting that all volunteer force had reached the end of its useful life, with the military struggling and recruiting. Conscription is likely at some point. Censorship and digital control will enter a new phase. Deplatforming, debanking, shadow banning, social media account suspensions will increase. Centralized digital services of all kind could be considered suspect and very likely dangerous to use in the very near future. The UN chief calls disinformation a clear and present global threat. Now let's talk about the election. Regardless of the outcome, is an inflection point and potentially a flashpoint. If it happens, the outcome will not be accepted by half of the country. I've heard from more than one source, publicly, privately, that there may not be an election. Who knows what's going to happen? We can be sure that running up to, shortly after, things are going to get wild. What do you think 2024 is going to bring us? And lastly, there is a war happening today. It's a war on us. The primary battleground is within the sphere of 5GW. Informational, psychological, where I've been wrong in the last 3 years that I've been actually doing YouTube and making videos and whatnot. It's been my assumption that the kinetic coercion would be utilized. As we can see, much progress has been made in the Great Reset. I've been talking about it for 3 years, going on 4, okay? Without the need for kinetic tactics. For most of this cycle, they will rely on this same approach. If and when we see a move toward kinetic force, we should be alarmed, because we will have entered a new and more dangerous phase. Now, do you agree or disagree with any of my assumptions? Did I miss anything? Let me know. I see all of the assumptions as out of my control. They may not come to pass, but whether they do or not is not up to me. Of course, I'll continue to speak out against them. If enough of us do so, it may help. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know. What do you think? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Okay? I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.